I do think it's important that no matter what you do, that you prioritize your time. And if you haven't read the book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People.
Stephen Covey.
Yeah, #1 book. And I would even say screw reading the book and just understand 4 quadrants of time management. That
we took a picture of that in your
Yeah,
office.
let's talk about that.
Yeah, the 4 quadrants is it. I mean, that's your whole life. It doesn't matter if you put marriage in there. It doesn't matter if you put kids in there. It doesn't matter if you put business in there. Those 4 quadrants are it. And when you realize if you're failing at life, if you put that whatever you're failing at inside that quadrant, you'll realize you're spending time in the wrong place.
So talk us through the quadrants. There's
Sure.
urgent, not urgent.
Quadrant 1, you got urgent. You basically got the 4 quadrants. So you've got urgent and important on the left hand side, and then you got important and not important on the left hand side, and you got urgent and not urgent across the bottom. So as you cross those two, so when you've got quadrant 1, you've got important and urgent, and your kids. I would say your kids are almost always an important and urgent.
Yeah.
They're always in there. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had kids, but when their diaper needs to be changed, it's urgent and important.
Yeah.
Okay, there's multiple things going on there that need to be taken care of. But when you get into quadrant 4 is just complete waste of time. It's not urgent and it's not important, but you waste time there.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, not to get into a whole different thing, but you get into pornography. It's not urgent and it's not important.
Yeah.
But it sucks the life out of you.
Yeah.
It sucks the life. You're in quadrant 4 at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Going to the strip clubs.
Yeah.
It's not if she doesn't get your dollars,
Yeah.
it's not important. And if she doesn't get your dollars, it's not urgent.
Yeah.
It is quadrant 4, man.
Yeah.
And so you kind of start breaking that down, and you start. But the one that really gets people, that really people get lost in, is quadrant 3, where it's not important but it's urgent. It's not important but it's urgent. And so, family, most of the phone calls you get from your family is not important, but man, do they believe it's urgent.
Yeah.
You need to stop everything you're doing right now and answer the phone call.
Yeah.
Because your mom's calling, because your sister's calling, because your brother's calling.
Yeah.
It is not important that you end right then and talk to them, but that's the way that they want it to be. But if you really want to do something with your life, if you really want to be important, not important, because that's not the right word. If you want to be effective with your life, if you want to impact people in a positive way, you need to learn to be in quadrant 2. Quadrant 2 is always not urgent, but important.
Yeah.
It's not urgent that I solve this problem today. It's not urgent. But man, when I solve this problem, I no longer have to deal with it.
Yeah. So it's important that way.
Yeah. So if I work together, if I work with my team and we can shave an hour off a process, we're still doing it today. But if I shave an hour off there, it's not urgent. But man, it is important that I get rid of that. And when you start living in quadrant 2, your whole world starts changing.
The hour saved is hours
Yes.
saved in the future.
Yes.
Numerous hours.
Yeah.
And then I'll go into the other favorite thing I love to talk about. So there's two things I love to talk about. The 4 quadrants of time management. You got to learn to be in quadrant 2, and you'll never be there. You will never be in quadrant 2 until you make time for it. And how you make time for it, you just start making a little bit each day. I'd encourage you to say, I'm going to take 30 minutes every day to just be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick my #1 thing that's my challenge, and I'm going to figure this thing out, whatever it may be. But that's the biggest thing that we got to do is just really work together on that. But the other thing I like to do is I talk about all the time with anybody I can get to listen to me is the very basics of a number line.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy that people don't understand a number line. It's so simple. The difference between -1 and +1
Yeah.
is not 1.
It's 2.
It's 2.
Yeah.
It's 2.
Yeah.
It is so important to know that it's 2.
Yeah.
And so I'd like just relate it down to construction, guys. I talk to guys all the time. Okay. So let me get this straight. You're going to go to Menards. You're not going to do any work. You're going to go to Menards and buy you're going to buy 1 board. And it's going to cost your hourly rate's $40 an hour. Yeah, it's like, but that board's only $4. I'm going to run and grab it real quick. I'm going to come back. Okay, so it took you an hour. He's like, yeah, it took me an hour. So how much did it cost? Cost me $4. What? Wait, what? No, I just paid you $40 to go to Menards to buy a $4 board. And now, what did you do while you're at Menards? Well, I picked the board up. Well, how about let me put you like this? What did you not do while you're at Menards? Well, I don't know. I got the board. No, you didn't work.
Yeah.
You did not do any construction.
Yeah.
So it didn't cost me $40, dude. That $4 board cost me $84. People don't get that on a number line. You know, it's
That is a great way to look at things.
and when you own a company, you think of that all the time. It's the same concept, leave money on the table, you know. But I just leave it simple on a number line. So, but this quadrant, this 4 quadrants of time management, it's super important, especially young businessmen like yourself. If you guys can figure this out in your 30s. You'll make a lot more money than I ever thought about in your 30s, because it took me a long time.
It's not easy. So I was going to ask, and I don't know if I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything, but
Sure.
Is there I think you gave a really practical example, and Brock and I were kind of talking about it before too, of you said just start with 30 minutes a day.
Sure.
And then you can grow that from there. Like, how can you, when everybody's coming at you and everyone thinks everything's important and urgent and they're calling you and you're just answering emails and texts and phone calls and but how do you have the ability to just have the discipline to carve out the 30 minutes just to get started on that?
The first thing I do when I'm talking to one of my team members, and honestly, my phone is open. Every single person in the company has my phone number.
Yeah.
Everybody. I don't say, oh well, only the people in the office or only. No, everybody. My number is on a board. You can call me day or night. And as a matter of fact, the reason I do that is because if something negative happens to you or your family, I want to be the first to know about it, because I'm going to be the first to help you.
Yeah.
So that there's that personal aspect. But the other thing I do is that when somebody calls me and they're talking about stuff and they've got this big, long grocery list of crap, I just tell them, first off, did you talk to who you should have talked to first? Did you talk to Tim? Did you talk to Alita? Have you talked to the people we've got in place that solve these problems? Yeah, I talked to them. Okay, well, you came to me with 5 problems. Let me tell you something. I'm a guy. I got one. That's all I got. I got one. I only got one thing, because let me tell you, I can only focus on one thing at a time.
Yeah.
That's all I got. I only got one. So when you bring me something, when you bring it better damn well be important, and it better be one. And if you can't articulate what your problem is, I'm gonna tell you to go away.
Yeah.
Because you're just complaining.
Yeah.
And don't come in. I had this big meeting one time. It worked out. And I wish we had an example here today. It's awesome. I brought everybody in the company together. I brought everybody in, and I gave everybody 5 stuffed animals. Gave them all 5 stuffed animals. I said, when we're done, you guys could take them home. So I went to Walmart and bought like 350 stuffed animals. It was hard to get.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuffed animals. So, everybody's walking in. I'm handing everybody 5 stuffed animals. They're like, what the heck is this guy going to do now? Give everybody that. And I made everybody walk up to me and give me one. Everybody walked up and gave me one. I said, I just asked a real simple question. How many stuffed animals do you have in your hand? They're like, well, we have 2. I said, how many do I have? And one guy came out and started counting. I said, let's make it easy. I have 76. There's 76 of me in this room. So you just gave me 76 problems right now, and you have 2. Everybody in this room, you just gave me 76 problems, and you did it in a matter of minutes.
Yeah.
In minutes, I got bogged down with 76 issues. So what I want to challenge you is that your problem is to say, Rocky, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
What problem can I take from you? Or at the very least, what can I do to keep from my problem spilling over to you?
Yeah.
So go through the process. We actually have a team of people that solve problems in the company. We have people available that come out, and they'll, no matter what department you're in, they'll come out and they'll work with you and see what they can do to problem solve. And if they can't solve it, they don't get involved. But really, that's you got to go through the whole thing. But if you got round numbers, if you got 100 people working for you, you could literally end up with 100 problems right now.